If I lost everything and I had to start from scratch tomorrow, after scaling my own store to 6 figures plus in a month, scaling my student store to making 6 figures in a month, this is essentially what I do. And it is different to what all the YouTubers say online. Go find a winning product. Go look at your data. Go look at this and look at that. No, it's a lot deeper than that. I wouldn't just be doing surface level things, because if it, it's real. If I lost everything, or if I, had a job, had savings, and I needed to get out of that, and I needed to start a business that would make me profit ASAP, it is going to be a lot different to what you hear online. It's not going to be the shit that is just surface level and it's like, yeah, drop shipping is fun. That's the guru type of language, chase after this format, chase after the product. These very short-term things which make it seem like it's a get-rich-quick scheme. And that's not what I would be doing. I got into dropshipping and I was able to scale to 5K in a single day after launching in a month of launching, simply because I had the knowledge, because I learned from somebody who had, already made millions with dropshipping. I learned from them. And so I implemented that and I was able to do that for myself. And so what you lack is likely knowledge. You're not lazy. You're not unambitious. You just simply don't have the knowledge. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you what you need to know in order to start and scale up a dropshipping store. If you are a complete beginner from scratch, this is literally what I would do if I had to start over again. And when you play the game like I'm about to say, it becomes a lot easier. It makes a lot more sense because, like I said, we're no longer treating it like it's just a dropshipping store. We're treating it like it's a brand. And we go into it with more intention, building a business. So we don't just see no results in a week and think, oh, fuck, the whole business is just doomed. We see data and we improve from it. And it's a slightly different approach to what people talk about online. So let me just go through this for you. The first thing I want to talk about is the actual product that you are going to be selling. So you don't want to be selling every single product that you can possibly find from other dropshippers, from dropship tools, whatever it is. You want to start this as if you were starting an e-commerce business. What product would you actually sell to help somebody? And the way I would think about this is by putting myself into a customer's shoes and thinking, what problem am I facing and what solution do I need? And when you do this, you do your research, you look online and find real life problems that people are facing, and dropshippers haven't actually provided the solution or the product to this specific problem yet. So there is loads of audiences out there where they need some sort of solution. They're trying all these different solutions for a specific problem that they have. Or maybe they just have a problem and they don't know how to fix that problem. They don't know how to they don't know what product to use. They don't know what to use for it. I would just do a shit load of research. I would use AI. I would look into online forums myself and just try to find that problem that people are facing, and then do a bit of research into AliExpress, use your private supplier, whatever it is, and find a product which is going to solve that problem for somebody. And then when it comes to running your ads, all you simply need to do is just run a load of ads over and over again. Take learnings from each ad that you do. What didn't work? What did work? Was the hook good? Did I get add to cars? Did I get no clicks? Is it an ad problem? And as long as you are learning from each ad that you are making to this specific audience, as long as you're getting add to carts, you're likely going to succeed. Because every time you're going to be learning something new about that audience and what they like, what they resonate with. And so it's very important that you're testing multiple different things to this specific audience once you have found that specific problem. So I would just start there, because if you start there, there's an upward trajectory, because you know that the likelihood of success is going to be much higher than just going on Mini or Dropship.io or any of these winning dropshipping platforms, taking something random and then just running the same ad that everybody else is doing. I see it so much now when people are just ripping shit. They're just ripping the same video ads and the same problems, or they're using some, crazy health claims that other people are using, and just to make some money. And yes, of course, this is to make money, but it's less about just get rich quick. It's more about building a real sustainable business. And so not only are you going to learn more and 100% make more money in the short term, but you're also going to make more money in the long term, because you're going to understand the principles to why specific products sell, and more specifically, why your product for your new brand is going to sell. And then that's going to scale inevitably. Now, the deeper the problem, the better. The more easier it is to sell to people. And this is 100% a fact, because it means if the pain is deeper, there's a lot more emotional intent. So they're much more likely to buy a product at a higher price point as well, which we'll get into in a second. So it's less about, say, for example, a chopping board. I've mentioned this before, but say you're not going to be targeting people who say, I can't be asked to wash it. I can't be asked to wash the chopping board. What are the alternatives out there? You're going to be targeting mums who have kids and they don't want plastic from the plastic chopping boards going in their kids' food, or they don't want to be taking in that plastic into their own bodies, because of course they already know the problem. So it's a lot easier to sell to that person. They have such a deep pain and they're already aware of the problem. So for that person, it's easier to sell to, because all you need to do is present the solution and that you understand the pain for that specific audience, mums, and they're going to resonate with it instantly. So all you need to do is ask yourself, if you put yourself in the customer's shoes, are they going to see your ad and see the solution and think, yeah, that actually is going to solve the problem that I'm facing, and I really haven't seen much out there that is going to fix it the way that this brand is telling me that it's going to fix it. And if you can do that, then of course that is a product which you can definitely scale. Now you also want to think about the TAM. So it's the total addressable market. This is essentially the entire market for this specific angle that you could go after. Do a simple AI search. So for example, mums who are pregnant, how many of them actually care about putting plastic, digesting plastic, whatever it is that your angle is. Ask AI and it's going to give you the TAM size. If it's big enough, 100% go after it and then just crush it in that market. And if it's not, of course, that means that you probably can't scale. And so you want to move on to another one. Now, the second thing that I want to touch on, which is not spoken about enough, is brand quality and caring for your customers. If you're selling a product and you don't actually believe in the product, you don't think that it's going to help that person, then I can promise you that customer likely isn't going to think that this product is for them either. That they're likely not going to buy the product if you don't even understand it. You don't know why it's good for them, for that specific audience, and you're just copying and pasting from AI. You cannot convince somebody that your product is good for them if you were just relying on AI to do all the work for you. All you need to do is price your products highly and only sell products that are good quality. Now, this is the stigma around dropshipping. You think that you have to sell a cheap product, a shitty product, because from AliExpress, like $5 or $2, or a shitty piece of jewelry that has, a family's name on it or something, that is going to make your wrist go green. But that is not what you're supposed to be selling. You need to sell something that is actually going to help a customer. People are just got this completely wrong. They've started with the winning product. Or for example, the best example here is fucking alcohol bracelet. I mean, people sell these bracelets or anxiety bracelets, and it doesn't actually solve a problem. And it's all just marketing. It's all just for the dropshipper's own incentive. There is nothing to do with the customer that actually helps them. So you want to come from a brand's perspective. When you're sourcing your products and you're finding your products, actually try to help the customer. Try to think, I found this problem. Is this product actually going to solve their problem? And if it's not, because it's cheap and it's just low quality, then don't sell it to them. But if you find one that is actually going to help them and it is high quality and it is expensive, then that likely means that the customer is going to think that it's going to help them as well. With that, you get to charge more. So you make more money anyway. So why would you not do that? So I like to price my products a lot higher to really increase the average order value. So it's a plus for me, but it's also a plus for the customer, because, Chinese products, they can be cheap. Yes, that is why dropshipping is so great and you get quite a big markup. But that doesn't mean you need to sell cheap products. I can promise you now that is what worked in 2021. But right now, it's just not working. I don't see that many brands scaling with such a low ticket product. So try to really improve the quality, help the customer, keep them in mind. Because what customers do nowadays is when they buy a product from a website, they already understand that they can open a chargeback. Now, a chargeback is going to be your worst enemy dropshipping. You do not want chargebacks. It's basically when somebody calls up their bank and they're like, I think this product is a scam, this brand is a scam, the product doesn't actually fit what I thought I was buying online. And so to me, it's a scam. To the customer, it is a scam. You've probably just scammed them if that's the case. Now, if you do this, or even if the customer has a bad experience, you don't reply to the emails, whatever. But if you do this and you get the chargebacks, you're going to get blocks from your payment processors, which means you can't keep selling. You don't have a business anymore. So what are you supposed to do in that situation? You know, if you don't have a business, you can't keep selling. If you sell a high quality product and actually offer something that's going to help the customer, you're going to make more front end sales because you trust your product can sell. So your ad scripts are going to be better. It's just going to be more convincing to the customer, and people won't open chargebacks. Happy days. Now, once I found my product, I found the problem, I found the audience which I'm targeting, and I found a very good product which is actually going to help my audience get better from whatever problem I'm helping them with whatever niche that might be in. I am then just going to do all that I can in order to make my ads succeed. So majority of my time would be spent making better ad creatives, like I said. So I'm just looking at what's working, what's not working, and then I'm doubling down on what is working and learning from the things that aren't working. Looking at your data very carefully and doubling down is going to be how you scale up your advertising in Meta. Because what most people do is they run ads for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then they don't see any success. And like I said previously, they move on to the next product. I know that's a lot of you out there that are doing that. Yes, you don't learn, whatever, boring, but you also really won't make money because yes, you don't learn the marketing foundations, but you also don't even understand your product, your audience. So every time you reset that new product and you test a new product because you see some other great angle because, oh, my ads aren't working, so it must mean that the product doesn't work or the customers don't want my product. And then you just go and chase the next shiny object, the next shiny product, which you think is going to sell. But the problem with this is that you're 100% just bad at making ads. You know what I mean? Like you can't make ads to a good enough standard to be like, well, it's the product's fault. If you're not even getting purchases, there is a big problem with the way that you're making ads. Focus on it, do it for a while, you know, just try to at least break even, get those sales coming in, which is what I would do, and then eventually be profitable and scale. You know, you could quit week 3, but then week 4, you find one winning ad which scales you up to 100K a month. I've seen this happen so many times with my students and even with myself, is that you know, in the early stages, you think that you should quit when actually you are so close to just getting that winning ad. And all you had to do was just do a bit more testing, just do some different things, more testing. And don't get me wrong, if you are literally seeing the worst data possible, then have a chat with AI, because AI is probably going to tell you that either your creative is shit or the angle that you are targeting is dreadful, or it's a combination of both. Now, if it's the angle or the audience that you're targeting, I don't know why you even targeted that audience in the first place. You are probably then going to have to move on. But if there is a good reason to why you tested this product in the first place, then you should just stick to it and make a brand out of it and fucking crush it. The only way that you lose here is if you leave. If you want to build a store like this, then go down below, book in a call, and we'll help you out on a more personal level.